So today we're going to learn the 7 most important things I learned from Andreas Carlsson. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. A while ago, I made an interview with Andreas Carlsson, a real legend in the music industry. And today I want to share about some of the key points that I brought with me and that I learned from hanging out with him and learning from him. A lot of the things that he shared really have changed my life. And I thought of putting them down into this video so you can really grasp the most important points from this interview. Let's get going and look at the 7 most important things I learned from Andreas Carlsson. So the first one is about learning how to turn a failure into a successful opportunity. So he said something really interesting when I talked about him. Like, the faster you can look at one of your failures as a learning experience, the faster you can learn from it and move on. And then you have gained a positive learning experience in life. And we all go through so many experiences where we experience failures and things that didn't go out as we thought. Maybe there were auditions you didn't land, or maybe there were singing jobs you didn't get, or that song didn't get so big as you wanted. But how can you then, instead of dwelling on that as a failure, how can you shorten that time that you think of it as a failure and just look at it as feedback, as an experience, and learning from that so you can move on? That was a very, very big thing that I learned from Andreas Carlsson. It really learned me how to move on and take stuff that I learned from my 20s and from mistakes that I made with my music and things like this, and move on and to take those learning experiences and pour it into new projects and learning from them and seeing, okay, I did this, I'm not going to do that again, but now I can actually learn from that and build a better, more prosperous project or help more people through this and use it as a learning experience. So that is the number 1. Here's number 2. When you write lyrics for a song, how can you make sure that the listener already knows in their mind what word will come next? For example, if you write a sentence, and then how can you make sure that the person knows what the next sentence will end with? Andreas, he said that songwriting has a code. And that's very interesting because he has written some of the biggest hits from the 90s with Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and lots of artists who worked in the same studio as him, and he wrote songs for them. And he said that songwriting has a code. He said that there's a reason that ABBA has one of the most famous brands in the music industry with the A and 2 B's and the A's. The mind loves polar opposites, for example. I hate you for loving me, or a man looks like a woman. How can we use these polar opposites and put them into songwriting? And how can we make sure that if we have a phrase ending with one word, how can we make sure that this listener already knows what word will come in the end of the next phrase? Not just writing about what we feel and what we experience, but also how can we decode songwriting and write good lyrics and music? And he gave a cool example of in a gym where he works out in Los Angeles. I think they had some t-shirts in the gym, train hard or work hard or something. And he said that was really bad, a bad way of using words. But across the street, he said, was Jaguar. And they had the slogan, don't dream it, drive it. And he said, that's a song. That's a really good way of using words. Both words start with a D, don't dream it, drive it. But also how those words correlate. Most people maybe just dream about driving that type of car or walk by that store and never owns it. But they really put that into making that dream a reality. Don't dream it, drive it. And that, he said, was an excellent example of good songwriting. Number 3 is design your life from your own wish. And I think this is very important to do. To follow your heart's desire, and your mind is the tool that can help figure out how you can live from your heart's desire. I think that's a very important thing, especially with music. Many people who do music and sing, they really feel that that is something they want to do, that they want to pursue, that they want to have in their life. It's something that they feel good about. When Andreas was growing up, he started in this design school. And everyone there, they had a dream about becoming designers and becoming designing and working that. But he was only thinking about music all the time. So he quit that school, even though it was a great career, a great school. People had awesome jobs after working there. But he decided, this is not my life. I'm going to pursue music, and that's what I'm going to do. So he chose something different, and he followed his heart's desire and designed his life from his own wish. That may be hard for some people because it's not so maybe so secure, or it's not like you go to a job every day and have that job security. But there will be other opportunities that open up, and if you use your mind as a tool how you can follow your heart's desire, then you will figure out how to do that. And that was a very big eye-opener for me when he said that. Number 4 is do what you're best at. And I find that advice also from so many people in so many different books, because most people, they do stuff that they are okay at. They work in jobs that they maybe find okay, or that they are average at it. But if you do something you really like and really love, then you will become really good at it. And then you probably will be better than most other people, because most people work in stuff that they're average at or that they don't like so much. But if you work with something you like, you will have a much better chance of becoming really good at it. Then you will become the best in your field. So that is a really interesting way of looking at it. So, and if you do what you can do best, maybe you have some specific trait in your personality that makes you very good or gifted in something. For example, I've always had very sensitive hearing, and that could be very challenging in situations with a lot of people, for example, because I could hear every small detail so extremely well. But when it came to music, that was an enormous strength that I could use, both in when I coach my singing students, when I do music production or songwriting or play music, that I can hear all these details. And it's like I've found my pond or my fishbowl where I can really use my natural strengths and where my personality fits really well. It's something amazing when you start finding out what you're really good at and start doing that as your main thing in life. So number 5 is about mentorship. I asked Andreas how important mentorship has been for him and how to find a good mentor. And he said something very, very important that I also see for myself, is that a mentor is not just someone who talks about things. I've had mentors like that, and they maybe not have been the best ones. But I've also had people who are extremely good at doing stuff, getting things done, not just talking about things, but actually doing big projects or getting things done, helping other people to get good results. Those are a really good example of a mentor. Learning from the best who gets stuff done. That is a very, very important and good way to choose a mentor. So number 6 is building your 2.0, because the person you're right now is only capable of achieving the stuff you have achieved right now. So in order for you to do new things in your life, you need to develop a new character and get new traits and get new qualities and get new ways of doing things. So, and he talked about building his 2.0, striving to become a better person who can do all these things with ease that he wants to do. And that's something that I do with all of my singing students and all the music students that I coach. I have them looking down at, okay, what are the qualities that I need to do? Can I become more disciplined with my practice? Can I visualize my goals every day? Can I write down the affirmations I need to do to believe in myself more? Things like this. So, and I constantly try to do that myself also, to develop myself each year, take courses in developing my skills and how I can become better at doing things. When we do this, it's much easier to get ahead and be able to do the things you want to do. Because if we only stay as the person we have always been, then it's very difficult to start doing new things. If we develop ourselves, we become more disciplined, for example, or we become better at conveying our message, or we become better at practicing or singing, for example, or we become better at writing songs or promoting our music, well, then it's easier for us to do those things naturally. But if we don't care about developing ourselves, then it's very difficult to get ahead and do new things. There's also a saying that is very cool. If you have 6 hours to saw down a tree, it's smarter to spend 5 hours actually sharpening the saw and then 1 hour chopping down the tree or sawing down the tree than just doing it with all your force. So if you focus more on developing yourself and the qualities you need to develop, then it's more easy to do those things that you want to do. That is a really important way of seeing. All the projects and things you want to do will come from yourself. So why not develop yourself and develop your skills, because then it will become easier to do those things naturally. Number 7. So what do I want other people to say about me when I leave the room? That is a really interesting question, because that really makes you need to think about who you are as a person, how you treat other people, how you treat yourself, what other people think about you. And when you have that clear, you can start to try to develop those skills and be that person. If you want other people to be inspired by you, then you need to be an inspiring, uplifting person. So then you cannot be a negative or talk about all the bad stuff in your life or all those things. Then you need to help other people and uplift other people. And if you want other people who you write music with or who you sing with or like this to want to work with you, well, then you need to be a more uplifting, inspiring people than other people, because then they will naturally want to hang out with you. I've seen that with so many artists or people who do music, who are successful at what they do. They're pretty inspiring people to be around. They have this magnetic quality about them that makes people feel good around them. So how can you become that person who lifts other people up and who spreads energy to other people? Because then it will be much, much easier to find the right producers to work with, find songwriters to work with, have other people want to believe in you and your music and what you do. And you will have a much, much better quality of life. I would say that is probably one of the most important things of the things that Andreas told me. What do you think about these things? Please leave a comment below. I would love to hear which ones of these you can learn from, or if you have any other great advice. I would love to hear what your best points are. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.